Hello class, this is Mr. Broussard, and I'm sending you this video for the 7th week of our beginning English course for the fall of 2020. First, I want to let you know, obviously I gave you all the extra chance to make the corrections you needed to make for the illustrated paragraph. I should get to grading that tomorrow. It looks like 8 of you took advantage of the situation and corrected what you had prior, so I'll grade those. 2 of you kept the earlier one, so I'll just go and grade that. And then a couple of you wanted the earlier grade kept, and that's perfectly fine. And a couple of you didn't do it either time, so you keep your 0. And then, of course, the one of you that had an academic integrity violation kept the 0 for that as well. So, and then a couple of you didn't do it the first time, obviously. So that is that. Like I said, I'll get to grading that tomorrow. So this video is mainly to let you know what it is we need to do for this week and next, going through next Wednesday. So it's not that heavy of a week, thankfully, and that is mainly because you will have a reading chapter and you will have a journal, but the main focus beyond that is to work on the descriptive paragraph, because that is coming up to in about a week and a half, a little less than 2 weeks. That will be due, and then we will move off of rhetorical mode paragraphs and then learn about essay writing, as well as the narrative rhetorical mode that will be with that essay writing, and then basically work on that for the rest of the class. So you learn the basics and ins and outs of essay writing. Hopefully you've gotten comfortable with paragraph writing as we've done it with rhetorical modes and as you've done it with the journals. And then, so once you've got that comfort of having 1 paragraph down, then you do need to move on to 5, and you will move on to a 5-paragraph essay with a proper thesis, proper conclusion, and 3 proper body paragraphs. But we'll learn more about that in a couple of weeks. As far as right now is concerned, for this week, you need to read chapter 19, and that is the second of the 2 grammar chapters we deal with. And that deals with phrases and clauses. These are basically parts of a sentence that could either be part or, in the end, a whole of a sentence, depending on what type of phrase or clause it is. Well, let me say right now, a phrase will never be a whole sentence, but a clause can be, but it can also not be. It could be an independent clause and or a dependent clause, and what one is makes it important, because if it is an independent clause, it can be a sentence by itself, but there might be a reason that it's a clause instead of a sentence. You might be adding a dependent clause to it, in which case, if you do that, that's a basic comma rule. You add an independent and dependent clause together, you have a comma between them. If you have 2 dependent clauses, you have a semicolon between them. And so there's a little lesson there, a quick little video lesson that you'll get through the chapter and reading the chapter, but wanted to express that to you now. But then also learning about those parts within the sentence and then how they work together, how a phrase works together with a clause. Word, phrase, or clause works together with that clause, in particular in an introductory form, as a little jump start to it, but then a comma sits in there, and then you have the independent clause itself afterwards. Or a simple independent clause can be a sentence by itself, but of course you have to make sure you have all 3 elements of a sentence. And note how I said 3 elements of a sentence. Many of you may have learned there were only 2 elements, and whoever taught you that was wrong. There are 3 elements. You have the subject, which you all know. We have what you learned as the verb part of the sentence, and what I learned as the predicate part. So when I express it, I call it the predicate verb part of the sentence. And the part that is some reason not taught, and that is highly important because it makes it a complete sentence, the completed thought. You must complete the thought. If you just have the subject and the predicate verb, but it doesn't complete the thought, you leave your reader hanging. And or whoever's written for you leaves you hanging, and that's not good, because there still is an extra part that needs to be there. You must complete the thought. Subject, predicate, verb, completed thought. That makes a sentence. Lacking those things will let you know whether or not you have a clause, independent or dependent clause, and whether or not you have a phrase even. But of course, make sure you read the chapter so you can learn those little differences here, there, and then learn them in a practical sense. And the reason you need to learn in a practical sense, which you will get out of the chapter, is you will have another quiz similar to what you had on the parts of speech quiz. And having looked at the grades, overall they were pretty good. So y'all did a pretty excellent job actually on the parts of speech quiz. So hand it to you, good job on all of that. So the quiz will be similar to that, but here's one big difference. This quiz will be the one that indicates whether or not you are a real person, or if somebody is doing your work for you, or if you're a bot, or whatever you are. And to that, in general, we make you take this as a proctored exam at a proctored testing site. Well, considering what we've been dealing with this semester with COVID and our classes moving either fully online or into a high flex model, the proctored exam sites spots filled up pretty much before the semester even began. So what we have what we will allow you to do is basically take the quiz on your own computer setup, but you will have to set up a respondents quiz, and I'll teach you more about that when we get closer to it. The respondents is what will allow you to take it on your own computer, but then also make sure that we have everything accurate, that you are who you say you are, so that there's no shenanigans of people taking quizzes for other people. Although some people still pull that. I once had a student who, you're made to hold your driver's license up against the screen so you can confirm that it is you, and there was no way that this person was the person in the picture, not a chance. So people still try, BS, and you don't think we'll catch you, or that we don't care enough to catch you, and trust me, I care enough, because when it comes to academic integrity, well, the policy that is out of this class is the policy after all my classes, and not in whole, but in part, is about to be accepted as the policy throughout the entire college. There are certain little things that they will have to change, obviously, due to certain rules that we do have. But for the most part, the overall cover is what we will soon have as an entire college, and not even just this campus, but the whole of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. So yes, I take it very seriously, and as does the school. So we will have that set up, and again, I'll go into more detail about it when we get closer to it, what all you will need to do. Because right now, all you need to do is read the chapter. Read the chapter so you kind of have yourself prepared, and then when you get closer to the quiz, reread it again and go over both the academic stuff, but also go over the practical stuff, the actual examples that they do have and the work that you need to do within the chapters, so that when it comes time for the quiz, you'll have it down and you'll be good to go. So then you'll take the quiz through the respondents system, and we'll be good to go. Like I said, that'll be more November when that happens. Probably the week prior to Thanksgiving is when that will be. But again, it's down the road. But the chapter itself, you can go ahead and read now. That's as far as the reading part. If I can talk right now, there is some written work. As I told you before, you do have a journal this week, Journal 4. Go ahead and look just to make sure. Journal 4. And the assignment for this week, if I can click on the right button. Yes. All right, it's due October the 14th at 8 a.m., so you'll have a little less than a week. And it's, what are you afraid of? And give specific reasons. And a reminder that these journals must be typed in Manila 8th edition formatting and must be done properly. Some of you are losing points, and some of you are losing all of your points because you're not doing the formatting properly. When you're asked to do something, you do it, and no, just doing something is not count. Any student who says, but I did something to me, will get a rant, and I'll try to be as nice as possible when I do my rant. Basically, along the lines of, well, if I stopped teaching English and started teaching yoga to you, I did something, my bosses won't like it, and they'll tell me, hey, we didn't hire you to teach yoga, we hired you to teach English. And if I still demand on teaching yoga instead of English, they will wish me well in my future endeavors, which is the nice way of saying we're not ruining your contract in August. So that's basic answer I have for that, and the nicest answer I can have for that. So journal weeks number 4. What are you afraid of, and give specific reasons of why you're afraid of it. Though let me say this just to heed this off. And I've said it before, but I got to reiterate. Fine. When you're doing these journals, do not have the title of your journal be the question I ask or the broad topic I give if you're in Comp 1 or Comp 2 class. That's boring. Who wants that? Your title is the first bit of creativity your reader sees. If they see a boring title, they're going to expect a boring read, and they're going to find it. When it comes to a question as a title, why are you asking me? If the question is asked of you, don't ask me a question that has been asked of you. But even the boring, broad topic is awful because, okay, water. What about water? I don't know about water. So be creative with the title. That makes your reader want to read on. If it's boring, then they're not going to read on. And that'd be bad enough, but even worse is if you titled this Journal Week 4, Journal Entry 4, something like that. That's even worse. Or if you titled your descriptive paragraph, that's even worse. Boring title's bad. An academic title's even worse. Who wants to read descriptive paragraph? I'm paid to read descriptive paragraphs, and I don't want to read descriptive paragraph or Journal Week Entry 4 or and that's my job. But all you're telling me is this is academic and therefore boring. So be creative with your titles. Worse than that is combining them. I'll tell students don't do either, and for some reason they'll do both. They'll title it Journal Entry 4, What Are You Afraid of? Or Descriptive Paragraph, boring title. And you're just throwing points away, brutally honest, just throwing the points away with that. Although even worse than that, it's not even the title at all. So again, MLA 8, all what you should have been done, and most of you are doing and doing it properly, but for those of you who aren't, please do it properly, what I asked. So make sure Journal 4 is due. What are you afraid of? And give specific reasons. And then finally is to start to work on the descriptive paragraph. Now, it's not due next week, but it's going to be due the following week. So go ahead and get on that now, work on it, and then edit, revise, proofread, which you should have learned a few weeks ago. Gone over what needed to be doing and learning why you should do those things, and thoroughly clean it up, keep cleaning it up. And then the following week, probably Monday or Tuesday of the week after that is when this will be due, descriptive paragraph will be due. So you have, like I said, less than 2 weeks, more than a week and a half, give or take. So that is what you have coming up as far as this class is concerned. So I hope you're all doing well. It looks like the storm's going to miss us enough to where I will be on campus tomorrow and Friday. If that changes, you'll be let known through the school. Trust me. You'll get a text, you'll get a phone call, your phone will probably like blow up and glow and something, and you will get an email in case anything was closed. Also to let you know, I'm not going to be on campus Monday or Tuesday because we are off physically for the Columbus Day fall break. So I will not physically be on campus for that time. So the next time I'll be on campus, well, I'll be on tomorrow, I'll be on Friday, weather permitting, and then the next time I'm on campus will be Wednesday the next week. So if I don't respond to you till then, that is why. I hope you're all doing well, and I will send a video a week from today.